Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. Today we're learning some history in the DFW area. We're learning all about the JFK assassination and all the Oswald sites you can go and look at while you're there. So the assassination happened in November 1963, but that spring before, Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald was rooming at this house on Neely Street. You can see the stairs that he stood under to take a picture of him holding a rifle, which is the same weapon that he used. A lot of people think this photograph is fake. Some people don't. But if you're going to start your tour, that's where you start it. Then you head over all the way to Fort Worth. That's where JFK spent his last night at the Hotel Texas on November 20th, 1963. As you can see, they have a memorial for him, and you get to see a statue and some quotes and learn a little bit of history of why he was there. And then that is the hotel. It looks like the book depository, doesn't it? And that same night, Lee Harvey also spent his last night with his wife at the Ruth Paine House, which you can go and also visit. It's owned by the city of Irving now, so it's a historical museum. He spent his last night there. He left his ring and some money once he decided to head on over the following morning with his rifle back into work at Dealey Plaza, which is where history happened on November 1st, 1963. And it pretty much still looks the same except without that big hotel, and there's that grassy knoll that everybody talks about. And then we have the book depository at the 6th floor museum. You can see it up there. You can visit this museum, get to know a lot more about the history of that day. There's a ring that Lee Harvey Oswald left for his wife before he assassinated Mr. Kennedy. There are the boxes that he hid behind and a replica of the rifle that he used to shoot Mr. Kennedy. And that's the window that he shot from. As you can see, it looks like a pretty easy shot with a little bit of practice, maybe a week or so. I think even I could make that shot. So it's creepy looking at it. And then there's a mock-up of what it looked like. And there's the X where Mr. Kennedy was shot. A lot of people drive over it, not knowing exactly what they're driving over. And of course, there's the famous grassy knoll where the second gunman shot, according to some people. And after he shot Mr. Kennedy, he went over to his rooming house, which is also a museum. And he picked up his keys and then he walked over to the theater, and he ended up being confronted by Officer Tippit. And there was a scuffle, and he ended up shooting the officer. So now they have a memorial there to, in honor of this police officer. After he shot the police officer, he headed over and sneaked into the Texas Theater to watch a movie, to hide out while everything was going on. But he was seen by people, and he looked suspicious enough to where he was turned in, and they surrounded the theater, and in 10 minutes it was all over. He was arrested, he was taken into custody, and he was charged with the assassination. And then 2 days later, on November 24th, he was shot by Jack Ruby. The museum has his hat, and that guy right there, they have his suit also, which is kind of cool and morbid if you think about it. And of course, JFK, they built a memorial plaza to him. I thought it was an air conditioning thing, but no, it's not. You can actually go in there, and that is where you see the memorial. People still leave flowers. As for Lee Harvey Oswald, he's also buried at a cemetery nearby. But you have to sort of walk around and look for it because they don't really advertise it. I went everywhere trying to find it. I started looking grave by grave until I should have noticed all the flowers around one of them. And there he is. That's where he was buried, right next to Nick Beef. I'm not sure what the story is about that, but I'm sure there is. But look for that big tree back there, and then just look for the flowers, and that's where he will be buried. And there you go. that is all of the Oswald sites in DFW. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please don't come at me with conspiracy theories. I've heard them all. Thanks. Bye-bye.